So this is part 3 of The Day It Bled. So Maria is getting raped right now, I guess. As Antonio reached to undo his own pants, Maria realized that this would be the only chance she would have to escape. The moment that Antonio reached for his belt, Maria kicked him with all her might. The kick sent him reeling back onto the floor. Maria jumped up from the table and ran screaming for help. Help! Help! Antonio recovered from the kick quickly enough to catch Maria. As he grabbed her by the arm, Antonio threw Maria back with all his strength. A passerby, Christopher and Jelly Lee, ran into the cafe just in time to see Maria's body crash headfirst against the fireplace. This astonished passerby asked, Antonio, what have you done? The man ran over to Maria. She was dead. Antonio ran. Christopher, horrified by the masquerade scene, ran out of the cafe and down the street until he reached the celebration area. He yelled for Giuseppe to come quickly. Something's happened to Maria, he explained. Running, Giuseppe followed Christopher. Upon reaching the inside of the cafe, Giuseppe sank to his knees by his daughter's fallen body. Giuseppe was speechless, searching for some magic words that would bring his daughter back. As he drew her corpse near his heart, all he could do was weep. A crowd had already gathered within the cafe and watched helplessly as Galapice and Teresa mourned. Standing in the crowd was Roberto, who also wept openly. Maria was like his daughter and the love of his only son's life. No words were necessary because Maria's battered face and torn dress told the story of what had transpired that night. Who could have done this horrible deed to sweet Maria? Just then Antonio slipped through the crowd, caught his father's attention, and beckoned him outside. Roberto followed his son outside the cafe, and as he exited, he heard thunder in the distance. The storm would soon arrive. Papa, I have something to tell you, Antonio confessed. I killed Maria. Roberto felt thousands of emotions sweep over at him at once. Anger, frustration, and fear clouded his vision. A tearful Roberto searched for Antonio for answers. What happened, son? How did this awful thing happen? Antonio began to tell his father what had transpired between him and Maria earlier that evening. I did not want to kill her, Papa. It was an accident. I was just trying to have a little fun. Fun? An enraged Roberto exclaimed as he slapped Antonio across the face. You have just murdered the daughter of my best friend in the name of fun, Roberto sternly reminded Antonio. You must hide until the magistrate returns from holiday tomorrow, and face the law for what you have done. Maybe the sentence will be meted in mercy, since it was only an accident. Roberto hoped. I only fear that Galapice will kill you before the law has a chance to judge you. Back in the cafe, everyone who had gathered by now was weeping with the Salvatores. Who is responsible for this evil? Galapice screamed in agony. Christopher Angelia stepped forward delicately. I know who is responsible, Mr. Salvatore. In a tone hovering between a breath and a growl, Gillespie asked, Who? Antonio Bertani. Christopher answered. Christopher relayed the whole sordid affair as he had witnessed it. From hearing Maria's screams to help from the street, to seeing Antonio throwing her into the stone fireplace. Of course, Antonio, Gillespie realized. His thoughts started putting the puzzle together. It was no secret that Antonio wanted to have his daughter completely, and Antonio had gotten uncontrollably drunk during the course of his day. Giuseppe's thoughts went to Roberto's momentarily. No matter how close their families were, Antonio had to pay for the life of Gillespie's daughter with his own. It had to be tonight. Gillespie left the cafe and headed to his house, which was at the other end of the village. He needed to get his gun, hunt Antonio down, and kill him. On the way, he met Roberto coming back towards the cafe. Giuseppe, wait for one moment, and do not do anything rash, my friend. Please, let the law handle this matter. I have told Antonio he must face the authorities. Roberto pleaded. The law, countered the irate Gillespie. The law did not lose a daughter tonight. I did. Gillespie, you are a reasonable and God-fearing man. Do not let vengeance cloud your judgment. Roberto pleaded to him. Besides, I have hidden him until the masquerade arrives back in the village tomorrow. I swear, Roberto, that blood will flow tonight. As Gillespie made his way towards his home, his mind began to race in an effort to figure out where Roberto would hide Antonio. He tried to immunate all of Roberto's relatives in the village or in any other villages that were close by. He also thought of all of the boyhood hideouts that he and Roberto had shared. They all seemed too obvious or unsafe. Gillespie made it home, had already gotten his shotgun, and was in the process of gathering shells when Teresa arrived. Giuseppe, maybe we should let the magistrates handle this, Teresa cried. The magistrate would not give Antonio the punishment he deserved. You know how well everyone loves the Roberto, and Antonio will use his every wile to charm his way out of this. He will get a slap on the wrist for what he was done, if I leave it to the ministry. Gillespie broke down. He must pay for killing my little girl. Teresa held Gillespie's head close to her, gently stroking his hair as he sobbed. I hurt you, Gillespie, but I don't want to lose you as well as my Maria, Teresa whispered. Besides, we do not know where Antonio is. Suddenly, Gillespie grew cold and stoic. He raised his head from Teresa's lap. I know where he is. Gillespie rushed from his house with his gun in hand. Roberto knew that Gillespie was a religious man. He knew that he had Antonio in the church. He would be safe. Certainly, Gillespie would not take a life inside the church. Roberto did not know Gillespie as well as he thought. Roberto made his way to his house. He felt that he must find a way to convince Gillespie to be reasonable. As Roberto paced the floor of his home, his eyes fell on the bayonet that he had used to save Gillespie's life in the war. And that is it. And that is the end of part 3. The last part is going to come up, and we're going to find out what happens and stuff. If he's going to die, if Antonio is going to die or not. And that's it.